Right. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Depends where you are in the world. Welcome to Dubai Female Leadership Stories, brought to you by Trusted Advisors Group. This is, all the way straight from Dubai. So today we have some wonderful female leaders who are going to be joining us in a conversation around what it really means to be a woman leader. This is really with Trusted Advisors Group. We are very passionate about organizational development, and we believe that female leaders play a very key role in organizational transformation. So we felt it appropriate to bring this to our female audience, female community, in the hope that this would bring some inspiration for our female listeners to feel encouraged to unleash their potential to become really awesome women leaders. So we have three speakers on this session today. Our first speaker, who we can see is with us, Ines. So welcome, Ines, to the session. We thank you very much for agreeing to participate on this session. We certainly hope that you're going to be an inspiration for our audience during this session. So I'm not going to talk too much, Ines. I would leave you to introduce yourself to our audience. And if you could also say a few words about some stories that you would like to share with us that has helped to shape you to become the woman leader that you are today. Something that some nuggets that our audience can take away and learn from. So over to you, Ines.
Hello, Cyril. Hello, everyone. Yes. Thank you so much for inviting me over. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you. So my name is Ines, as you said. I think more than anything, what's important to say here is that I'm more than a female and a leader. I'm a normal person. I'm Portuguese. I come from the south of Portugal, from a beautiful place with beautiful beaches and wonderful food. By the way, let me tell you that.
Good.
I have a background in geosciences, oil and gas prospection, and 17 years ago, I would never dream for sure that I would be here today speaking with you about female leadership. I thought I would probably be doing some research somewhere and not at all talking about how to inspire other people to chase their dreams. So this is something, it was something completely unexpected for me, and that happened naturally. So I started my career 17 years ago in Portugal as a teacher, just for fun. And then I started to, I wanted more. I didn't know why, but I wanted more. I wanted to know the world, to know how would it be to work in different cultures with different people. So I've accepted the challenge and I've moved to Africa in 2008, and I've been working abroad ever since. So for the last 12, 13 years.
Right.
I started in Angola, then I moved to Qatar, then I've spent a few months in Kuwait, and I came to Dubai as well. And it's been a challenge so far. The reason I'm here today, and I think it's really important to share with all of you, it's more than a leader or than having a label. It's important to understand who you are. And I remember when I went to Africa, when I moved to Angola, the way my manager at the time introduced me to the community was there's a female joining the company. So it was not about my name. It was not about my skills. It was not about my expertise. It was not about how people would be able to onboard me or to help me understanding the culture, the company, the country, anything. It was about there's a female joining the company, so ready to do it. And I was the only one for years and years, and at least the only one with responsibilities different than cleaning or doing other types of services. So
Yeah.
it was a big challenge. I was reminded all the time that I was a woman. And how did that happen? By not being heard a lot of the
Yeah.
time. By So my skills again, my what I was able to do didn't come first. What used to matter, at least immediately, was okay. It's not your time to talk, so let's skip it. And
Yeah.
this was taken in a very, at least from my angle, in a very challenging way. It never made me give up at all. Um, it just triggered the opposite. For me,
Right.
it helped me kind of trying to show to the others that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the package.
Yeah.
What matters is what you put on the table. How do you help the organizations growing? How do you contribute to the others' development and for your self development as well? And I'm happy to say that after a few years of having joined the company, the mindset has shifted, and
Great.
yeah, other
Right.
people have the same opportunities, and I was very, very, very blessed.
Oh, that's really great. That's a wonderful story, Ines. I think the words that I was picking up from what you were describing there is never giving up, right?
Mhm.
Um, and responding, responding to challenge in a completely different way, which is to say that, okay, I need to do something about this, as opposed to, oh no, this is difficult. I need to step away and kind of go into my shell. And you can imagine the impact that this has had on the community that you were working, in, the fact that you could have, I'm sure you've strengthened a lot of people in the community there, as seeing a woman coming in and bringing positive change. So that's a really, really wonderful story. And I guess for our audience, the message here is that don't give up even when you feel like you're being undermined, right? If anything, it should give you the impetus to actually challenge that and be, wanting to be seen to be doing something about correcting that. So that's really, really a great story there.
I would say I would even add to that that I think it's
Yeah.
important for the person, either if you're irrespective of being a woman, a man,
Mm.
doesn't matter. It's moving from a victim mindset. If you
Yes.
are different, or if you feel that you are treated in a different way, just
Yeah.
moving from a victim mindset and
Yeah.
try to to tune yourself with the growth mindset. And it's like, oh,
Yes.
what are the opportunities here? What can I change? What can I do? What can I learn?
Mm.
How can I shape
Yes.
myself?
Yeah.
What can I take and what can I give? I think
Yes.
it's really important.
Yes. Yeah. So
Powerful.
moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. I
Yeah,
like that too. Yeah. That's very, very important. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much, Ines. I'm looking forward to it since it sounds like you're quite well traveled as part of your professional work, which will come quite handy because we will be talking about culture later on in our conversation. I'm sure it will be great to get your insights on that. Great. Thank you very much, Ines. Um, so now we'll go on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Lobner. Lobner's head of Logitech. Um, Yes, at Enterprise Business. And I'm going to again invite Lobna to give a quick introduction of herself, and share some stories from her side as well. So, yeah, thank you very much, Lobna. Welcome. Great for you to join us for this session. And yes, I'm sure our audience is going to learn a lot from you as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Cyril,
Okay.
for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah.
So my name is Lubna Menshel. I'm currently the head of Logitech for enterprise business for the region of AMECA, stands for Africa, Middle East, Turkey, Central Asia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 72 countries and 3 continents.
Right.
Uh, Diversity in terms of culture, you can't find more when you are leading
Absolutely.
a team in 3 continents. So yeah,
Yes.
I actually just heard Ines' story, and the came out is about perseverance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can share my own story. But before that, I just want to give a little bit background about where I'm coming from. I'm originally Moroccan.
Right. Okay.
I consider myself African,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I where the food also is amazing in Morocco.
I know
Beautiful
this.
country,
Yes.
yes.
Morocco is my second home.
Okay, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
I miss my country. I've been traveling a lot. My
Sure.
first job was actually in Paris
Mm.
for Alcatel mobile phone. Then I had to move to Dubai for FedEx, then Honeywell, and then Jabra, then Johnson Control, and I end up with Logitech. So I have like 24 years experience, and I can just say
Mm.
yes, all of them are in multinationals, but all of
Mm-hmm.
them were not easy. And
Right.
specifically, that's what brings me to share my story about when I decided uh, to move out from
Mm.
marketing role to management and leadership role. And
Ah,
that's where
okay.
I can say the
Mm.
difference. And
Yes.
this is that's what welcome to the challenges back in that time. I'm talking
Mm.
about before like 2006, 7, 8.
Right.
There were
Right.
always like yes, and when I specifically choose a company that is male dominated
Mm.
because
Mm.
operating in the building management system, and that's we have only engineers doing IoT, BMS, all this kind of word that we don't understand in our daily basis because it's so far. Um, in groups such as Honeywell, for example, when I
Mm.
try to reply, uh, I was actually refused completely by the headhunter.
Okay.
And I said, okay, just tell me why. I want to
Mm.
know why. He said, I don't understand. You can go to the competition. In that time,
Mm.
it was DHL. You can go to any mobile, I would say, company like
Mm.
Nokia, Motorola in that time. I know those names, we forgot them now,
Yes.
but back,
Yes.
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 And you can make a lot of money and you can be happy. Why you insist to penetrate this, I would say, male-dominated company such as Honeywell? Which is, I
Mm.
was like, why? And then he was obviously explaining without saying because the American multinational cannot say that we don't want female,
Female. Yes. True. Yeah.
but they let that to be shown through the headhunters that
Right.
actually can tell you obviously, you know what, just be be far from this industry. It's better for
Mm.
you. You're gonna be alone. There is no
Mm-hmm.
woman. You're gonna suffer a lot, and all this kind of stuff. So
Mm. Mm.
So I said, am I like discouraged from going there just because I am female? And then
Mm.
he said, no, 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 because also you're not engineer. I mean, basically my background is I have my MBA in international business.
Yes.
So I was saying, okay, I can understand, but the role is not requiring in engineering, I would say, diploma. So what is it exactly?
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's dominated by male, and you can not find yourself. So I had to
Mm.
go basically connecting with the VP directly of the
Okay.
company
Right.
just to get myself a chance. And I said, look,
Mm.
give me just 10 minutes. If you are not satisfied about my speech during 10
Mm-hmm.
minutes versus 1 hour for the other male candidates, You can just ask me to leave. This is
Yes,
how it
yes.
happened. And 10
Good.
minutes become 1 hour, and 1 hour later
Ah,
on, yes,
okay.
become a dinner offer, then an offer on the table. So
Yes,
I
yes,
just I, I just want to say this experience basically showed me that, and also that was the entry just,
yes.
but the most challenges were more about leading engineer male
Dominated.
team,
Yes.
yeah, where they were like, what does she know about what we are doing?
Mm.
How she can do that? So I was like every time reminding them, my role is not to do your job.
Yes, yes,
My
yes.
role as a leader is to support you doing better
Mm.
your job. It's completely
Yeah.
different. I don't need
Mm.
to understand deeply all the technical solutions or
No.
being
Mm.
like in the field with you. So what I've changed when I had the opportunity, and here where exactly what Ines mentioned is I'm aligning with it, because I I never seen myself as a victim, to be honest.
Mm.
For me,
Mm.
it was a huge opportunity to do something for female in
Mm.
this, I would say, industry.
Mm-hmm.
Give them the opportunity. So the first thing that I've done, I encouraged. I've done some lobbying in education sector, because this is
Mm.
where it starts. It's
Yes,
not
yes.
about the companies not giving the chance. It's,
Mm.
it's chicken and egg.
Yes, yes, yes,
The
yes.
education sector is not providing the right, I would say, back in that time. Now
Mm-hmm.
things are moving and
Yes.
improving in the right way, but back in that time, education was not were not offering actually the right profile from female
Mm. Mm. Mm.
candidates to enter to this industry.
Right.
And the companies were like, we don't want to hire because we don't know if the female can actually be aligned with our requirements. So the
Mm.
first thing that I've been able to do is hiring female engineer.
Ah, okay.
The second thing that I was facing in having the team members, she was a woman, and she was like, I'm gonna stay until I finish my job. And it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
Mm.
And I said, oh, why you are doing this? Because I want to prove myself that I can do it. I said, okay, slow down. You can do it, right? You don't need to
Yes.
stay in the field until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. just to prove yourself. So
Mm.
yes, to be honest with you, Cyril, it has these challenges that are, all women are like want to prove themselves, so they are
Yes.
doing more. The,
Yes. Yes.
the good side, which I find it very, I would say, a good and opportunity is women are always questioning themselves, am I doing well? Should I do more?
Mm.
And
Mm.
this for me is an opportunity to
Mm.
improve.
Mm. Yes.
Versus male, they are in comfort zone
Mm. Mm-hmm.
and saying, I am doing it, it's fine, why should I do
Yes.
more, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
this kind of spirits, this is where it brings me that diversity can bring a lot. Because
Yes.
when now, and I witnessed it in my team when I was leading, that
Mm.
the male, they were like all men, they were starting comparing themselves to women. They say, hey, yeah,
Mm.
wow, she did that, so oh my god,
Mm.
how she did it. And I was like,
Mm.
because she questioned herself how she can do
Mm.
more.
Yes, that's
Maybe if you
true.
ask yourself, you will be
Mm.
overachieving, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
So yeah,
yes, yes,
this
yes.
experience,
That's a great
that's
story.
that's the first thing. Second one,
Yeah.
I sat with the government and Ministry of Education, and I said, hey guys, we need to do something,
Mm.
and we need
Mm.
to encourage women in the sector, and we start actually providing learning about the technology in the
Okay.
universities to
Mm.
attract more women.
Women,
And
yes. Awesome.
that was, yeah, and this I had the chance to teach in American University in Morocco. And I
Mm.
saw it when I asked the question, why you ladies are not in technology? Oh,
Mm.
because it's already given the chance to male. Why we gonna go and
Mm.
and do everything when we know very well that they will choose a male, I would say, candidate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it has to be done from education. When I say
Yes.
education, also education of parents, and I'm talking about maybe it's done
Mm.
in advanced countries, but I'm leading Africa,
Yes.
part of my
Yes.
region of Middle East and Turkey and Central Asia, and what we call
Mm.
the emerging markets. And I
Yes.
can tell
Yes.
you there is a lot
These
to do,
environments
a lot
slightly
to do.
different.
Completely different, yeah. But
Yes.
we are in
Yes.
the
Yes.
right, I would
Direction.
say, direction. I'm so happy
Yeah.
that we are today discussing this. And I'm
Yes.
so happy that
Yes.
if I can share my voice with all women that they want to be in this
This is
industry.
great. Thank you very much, Lobna. I think your stories are kind of very similar to Ines' stories as
Mm,
well, which is
yep,
speaking to the importance of courage and believing in yourself, right? I think uh, character building forms a very key part. I think
correct.
we want to focus on building our character more so than on our jobs even. This is some advice that I also got early in my career. Focus on developing your character, and your career would be in safe hands. So
That's
so
the advice that I would love to share with
yeah,
all women.
thank you very much. Thank
Trust
you very much.
yourself. Trust yourself.
Yes, believe in yourself. Awesome.
Correct.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
Cyril.
Lobna. So yes, we'll obviously we'll be continuing the conversation very
Mhm.
shortly. We're now. So thank you, Lobna. We're going to move on to Susanna. So Susanna's our third speaker. Susanna is head of search and staffing at LinkedIn, and I have had the pleasure of meeting Susanna as well recently in Dubai. Yes, she's a true inspiration to women leaders. So I'm going to invite you, Susanna, to to introduce yourself and share with us some stories that hopefully will inspire our audience.
Sure, sure. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Cyril, first of all,
Mm,
for the invitation. Really appreciate it. It was a
sure, it's
pleasure to
great to
meeting
have
you
you.
too
Yes.
recently.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm currently leading the search and staffing division for LinkedIn MENA. I have around 18 years of leadership experience, predominantly in Europe, and for the past 8 years in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I worked across numerous fields and industries. I started my career actually in a deco. I was an intern, and I grew all the way from being an intern to be a regional manager for one of
Mm,
the sectors in the 10 years I spent there. I
right.
grew every year and I was promoted every year. Then I
Mm,
moved to the Netherlands, where I was a business manager for an oil and gas company. And then lastly, I moved to the Middle East. I had my own recruitment company, and I was also a business manager in an oil and gas company. That's why how I moved here.
great.
What I can
Okay.
say about my experience of
Yes.
being a female leader is that I was lucky enough to throughout my career always have good mentors and colleagues to
Mm,
talk to and to get help from.
great.
And this influenced the way I feel about leadership and having a growth mindset. So
Mm,
one of my biggest mentors, and I'm just gonna share this story because I think I have a slightly probably
wonderful.
different experience, but
That's
it's with my
fine. The
mom.
diversity also helps.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my mom, when
Yeah.
she was 19 years old, she
Okay.
actually ran away from home because her my grandfather would give my uncles the opportunity to study, but not my mom
Mm,
because she was
ah.
a woman. So
Mm,
she ran away from home when she was 19. She found her job, her voice, had a career. And she always taught me and my sister, like, never see yourself, as the women, like, just see yourself as the professional you are, and the student you
mm,
are, and the
mm,
athlete you are. And I'm
yes.
an athlete, and I was an athlete from a very young age. And that
Mm,
helped me building discipline
Mm,
and a mindset where I always see myself. It's very rewarding when female come to me and they say, wow, you're a female, look at what you achieved, you've been in a
mm,
leadership role for so many years, how do
yeah.
you do that? And my answer is always kind of the answer my mom always gave me, which is, I don't see myself as the female in the role. I
Mm,
just see
mm,
myself as another leader in the company, and
yes.
having my own voice in the
Mm,
company. So I never really. Of course, there are comments from colleagues at times. I'm not gonna lie to you.
mm,
Comments such as, how did you got this role? Do you know anyone here?
yes. Yes.
And I will
Yes.
always say
Yes.
no. It's from my
Yes.
experience and my results. Look at them.
Mm, mhm,
And I think, look, having mentors and coaches providing valuable inputs will
mm,
help shape your career trajectory. And
right.
it definitely helped me with my own career trajectory. And the fact that
Right.
I also always had really different perspectives. So
Mm,
from a Portuguese culture to a Dutch culture, and then to the Middle East,
mm,
also helped me. I'm very curious by nature, so I like to understand different cultures. How do they think about certain subjects, about
yes.
female, etc. And what I would
Mm,
say is, and one of the things I think it's lacking for sure, it's women supporting other women, because
mm,
sometimes we have male colleagues that will help us and be our advocates, and we need to go and we need to ask them to be our
mm,
advocates, right? This would be my advice. But
yes.
also make sure you have women by your
Mhm,
side, and that you support other women to be successful through
yes.
coaching, through mentoring.
Mm,
I lead also Embrace, which is an
okay.
employee resource group we have at LinkedIn,
Right.
where I support like different cultures, different nationalities, and of course females as well.
Mm,
And I would say, it's the diversity, like, I think diversity is not only diversity of gender, but it's also diversity of thought, and the
yes.
growth mindset,
Yes.
as both Inez and Lubna said,
Yeah.
are really really important for you to succeed.
Mm,
So
mm,
once you are when you are asking yourself, I'm a female, how am I going to get there? Just think of yourself as, I'm a professional. Which
mm.
skills do I need to get that role? Because this is the
Yes.
most
Yes.
important question you should be asking yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you're spot on, Susanna. I think Ines said the same thing at the beginning. Always seeing herself as a person as opposed to a female, right?
Exactly.
And encouraging others to rather look at what she's bringing to the table. And I think you're definitely speaking to that. So the nuggets that I got from your stories there, Susanna, is the advice about getting some mentors, right? Um,
Totally.
Female mentors as well, right? And I think that that's definitely a good shout. It's good to get women who may have had similar experiences, and certainly can provide with that necessary guidance as as you go through the kind of development process. So that's a good one for our audience. And then, of course, the second part is developing a growth mindset. I think all three of you have been speaking to that as well, which is to say to yourself that yes, I am able, and then I can influence change. Yeah, and not being sort of feeling threatened by some reactions or responses. I think Lobna was speaking to the fact that to some degree, women can be stronger because of all that kind of adverse experiences, that women go through, and it actually can help to strengthen you, and what she was explaining was that is that she feels that some men probably are stuck in their comfortable zone, comfortable place, because they haven't been sort of, been made, they haven't been challenged in the same way, right? So in a way, that's a positive thing as well, to to be challenged to come out of your comfort zone. So thank you very much, Susanna, for that. So now we're going to bring all our speakers together. Um, we're going to have a kind of a joint conversation on, I guess, the first part. Some of you may have touched on this already. The first part is, what kind of initiatives have you um, either participated in or led, right, within the organizations that you've worked in. I think this will help our audience to feel encouraged, hopefully, to go away from this session and make a conscious decision to say, okay, this is going to be my goal. Leaving this session, this is the role that I'd like to play to help to bring, to support women into the, as part of their leadership journey. So I think, Lubna, you spoke to this earlier. You mentioned your work within the government, I think it was. Could you remind us again? Could you say a few words about that, Lubna?
Well, that was in my previous experience back in 2008, and
Yeah,
it was in Morocco
yeah,
when I wanted actually to encourage women to be in the industry field.
yes,
I've spoken to the education ministry to
right.
actually to encourage women
Mm,
in the building management industry,
yes,
and
mm,
specifically the engineers.
yes,
And we sponsored some final classes to get
right.
more women, give them scholarship to participate, and
Mm,
ensuring them that they can actually find a job within multinational companies, and also
mm,
creating job with the locals one. And
yes, yeah.
then I found myself one of the board member of the American University in Morocco, and also I had the chance to teach some of public affair and lobbying as
Mm,
courses. And
yeah.
I met a lot of girls where I was sharing my experience, and they
Mm,
saw, and I was always asking why you're not in this field, and they felt
mm,
like
mm,
there is no need to invest all their career on this when by
mm.
the end they will not find a job. And
Yes,
then it
yes.
started changing from the first year, second year. We saw the movement of some girls coming, instead of being in marketing only or sales positions, they can start to be programmers in the technology or being
Mm,
in actually this kind of field. So that
great.
was, yes,
Mm,
that was
yeah.
huge for me satisfaction.
Mm,
I volunteered to do it, and I was
mhm.
really so proud to have this kind of impact. I'm
Yeah.
still encouraging, of course, in my current job, if I can and if I had the chance.
Mhm.
Diversity is not only because we are a woman and we want to be there, and it's
Yeah,
not
sure.
about that. It's
Yeah.
because it brings the out of the box thinking. It
Mm,
brings a good energy in the team. We actually can succeed to disrupt actually the monopoly side. So
yes, yes.
it is important. The company wins,
Everyone wins. The
teams wins.
community wins.
It's everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing that I have to be honest about it is the culture environment was also
Mm.
mentioning that women in Africa are more like don't have
Yes, yes,
time
yes, yes. Yeah,
because
we'll be
they need to
talking about
take
this.
care of their babies, their
Yes,
families,
yes,
and
yes, definitely. Yeah.
and we are, if we don't give, I would say, the father uh, parent leave, we cannot
Mm.
have only the maternity leave and not the father. I don't know how to say it, paternity leave.
Yeah, paternity
And
leave. Yes,
yes,
yes.
and if there is no equality from that side, we cannot
Yeah.
impact the equality for women also. So
Yes, yes. The
it's
system
again, it's a
is against.
circle.
Mm.
And unfortunately, in some countries in Africa, we still have to to fight for this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think also Middle East. I think Turkey is the same. I'm talking about the region that I know.
Yeah.
When I was leading Europe in my previous experience, I was like watching a huge difference between Europe
Difference.
and the
Yes.
region of Middle East. Unfortunately, and whenever I was talking to the HR team for Europe, I have in the same company advanced countries and
Yeah.
unfortunately underdevelopment countries, which is the same company,
Yes. Yes.
which is
It's
weird
amazing.
because it's
Yeah.
like, wow, I'm leading in the same company. Why it is
Yeah.
different? No, we need to adapt
Yes.
to the local law, so it has to come
Mm.
from the government and the law and so on.
Uh-huh.
But I think everyone can participate and with small.
Great. Yes.
I'm also
Small changes.
trying to be in the panel of a jury to encourage women startup. I
Mm.
think it's not
Mm.
only in big companies that can women prove themselves. We
Yeah.
startup, we can see a lot of projects coming from women, and it is so satisfying to
Good.
see the
Excellent.
coming generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Good.
things are
Excellent.
moving in the right direction for
Right
the coming
direction.
generation. I'm
Yes.
over 40, so what I have actually faced, I don't think that the coming generation will have to
Things
face
are
it.
certainly getting better. This is very, very true. This is very, very true. How about, thank you very much, Lobna. How about you, Ines? Have you been involved in any initiatives, similar initiatives that our audience can find some inspirations from?
I'm laughing because of Lubna. She's too funny. I
Yeah.
think we set the pace definitely, right? If you're
Yes.
40, you've been through things that others won't go for sure. Um, so it was a kind of a revolution from our side. So
Mm,
yes, I've been involved in a lot of initiatives, and but I think um, um, there are two different ways of looking at it. I would say that what I've done in the past was always bringing awareness to the table, and never, pretending that the elephant was not in the middle of the room.
mm.
So if I find there's an issue, even when I look at the teams, we are responsible for managing our teams, for leading our teams. So it's
Yeah.
our responsibility as well to have the right balance of not only of skills but also of gender. Right? If it's
Mm,
needed, the mix, it's very much needed, and that's why the learning happens in a different way. The work environment, it's completely different if you have balance when it comes to gender. It's not obviously the inclusion, diversity are really, really, really important, but the gender is extremely important to be there. The difference is important. To make the difference the most important thing, that's not correct, in my opinion.
right.
That's
Yes.
the wrong thing.
Right.
So as a responsibility, what I used to do and what I do, I work closely with the people engagement departments in the companies that I've worked with, and and I help by promoting initiatives to include people, to bring awareness to the table, to create the hot topic when needed, as needed, and
Mm,
also when I speak with and in the past with all of the people responsible for recruitment, or with all of the leaders, people responsible for leading their own teams, as well, bringing the topic and trying to help them understanding that
mm.
we are not a threat in a way.
Yes. Yes.
We
Yeah.
are there not to be different, but to add value to the picture and
Mm, mm,
contribute with the same skill as the others. So
mm,
again, it's a shared responsibility. It's individual responsibility for us to bring it to the table, no
mhm,
matter where
mm.
we are, with who we are.
Yes.
It's a shared responsibility as well when it comes to
Mm,
our companies, the companies that we have worked with and that we work with, to keep making it a hot topic, because it's a hot topic and it has to be a hot topic.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. And I can imagine that it's so, I can see it as being a very, very difficult conversation to have, right? It needs a lot of emotional intelligence, the right approach. Otherwise, it can become counterproductive. And that's all the points that you were speaking to the.
you know what I've learned? Let
Yes.
me just add what I've learned along the way as well is that
Yeah.
confrontation is not the right way.
No.
A lot of
Absolutely.
people, they become very reactive, trying to defend themselves. Okay, I'm a woman, I have the same rights, I have this, I have that. Yes, we have
Yes.
to defend ourselves. It's very much
Mm,
needed, by the way. But there are ways of doing things. So we kind of
mm,
define, we kind of, as I was saying, we set the pace and we define the tone of the conversations, and we bring inspiration and fairness to the table instead of
yes.
confrontation. Because the
Mm,
confrontation will only bring negativity and resistance, and it
mhm.
will not be anymore about the situation, it will be about the person. And I don't
Yes,
want
very
the person
true.
to be the
Yes.
thing, the thing
Yes.
being looked at, right? We want the
Yes.
situation to be the thing being looked at. So I would
Focused
say
on.
the
Very
way to
true.
do things with emotional intelligence is the most important thing.
Yeah, that's true wisdom. That's true wisdom right there. Thank you very much, Ines, for sharing that. Because I think most of us often are very tempted to get kind of emotionally, engulfed in the situation, and sometimes that can be counterproductive. Yeah. Thank you, Ines. And how about you, Susanna? Have you participated in any initiatives supporting in this area?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I joined Inez and Lubna in the plus 40 group representing
Okay.
females in the leadership
You guys have been very
position
transparent
quite
today.
a lot. But as I was saying before, I lead one of the employee resource groups we have at LinkedIn, which is Embrace, which is all about diversity and all
Mm,
types of diversity. So
okay.
Yeah.
actually today,
Yes.
I we had a workshop at LinkedIn for the whole team on
Mm,
how to build trust, how
mm,
to give constructive feedback, how to create a culture of respect and trust and
mm.
belonging for everyone.
Yeah.
So for every gender, for every race, for people with disabilities, etc. And I think like the way I approach it, it's broader because
Yeah.
it's for every type of situation. So we had a couple of examples where I don't know, someone would be, for example, mimicking a language
Mm,
because from other someone's accent, and then someone would give that person feedback that was not right because that person was not you know with them in the meeting room at the time, and why were
yeah.
they making fun of that certain skill. No, and the giving constructive feedback and approaching difficult conversations, as Inez was saying, and finding ways to address the elephant in the room and to create a more inclusive and a culture of belonging is very important for me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's why I took over the leadership of Embrace for Bina a year and a half back, and I keep
Mm,
driving these workshops
mhm,
to for people to be more self-aware, aware of their
mm,
biases, and to overcome them, and how to
mm.
give feedback to other people about this bias in a constructive way.
Yes,
Yeah,
awesome. That's really great. Yeah, that's
thanks.
great to hear. Yeah, so we've been talking about culture, as part of our conversations, and I think it would be good to kind of you know bring this up as we kind of come to a close with our session. It's amazing. It's already 45 minutes, and we are having all this awesome conversations already. But on the subject of culture, um, we all recognize the importance of culture, right? But I would like to get your thoughts on how do you think national culture, in the countries where you operate, can impact organizational culture, and how do you navigate that? Has any of you um, find yourself in a situation where you're trying to bring a particular culture into your organization, however, the national culture doesn't seem to be aligned with the culture that you're trying to bring into the organization? Maybe I'll start with you, Ines, on this particular question. What are your thoughts on that?
I think
Um,
I'm very blessed, by the way,
okay.
because I've I work in a privileged as a learning and development. You have nothing but well, you only have opportunities, by the way, to come up with
Yes.
initiatives where you don't make it feel that, again, the elephant is there. So
Yeah.
what we do, what I've always done, and I've always worked in learning and development all my life. So
Yeah.
basically, what we do, we come up with a lot of workshops, a lot of initiatives, a lot of moments of team building, and the career development plans that we do build for local talent are always
Mhm.
very much aligned with the career development plans that we work for any other employee,
Yes.
with a few differences, because
Mm.
if we are guests in a certain country, we need to kind of honor that particular country and also help people in that country to develop themselves. I remember
Yes.
when I was in Africa. It was after the war, and the main struggle was to develop people, to reskill people or to upskill
Mm.
people.
Yes.
And so there was no workforce to be hired,
Right.
at
Right.
least for the need of the
Mm.
market, the needs of the market. And that was our main challenge. And I didn't see any particular clash. What I've seen was gratitude, because it was done the right way. It was done
Yes.
with inclusive spirit and with, again, the approach of, okay, how can we groom you, and how can we
Mm.
help you in all the steps of the ladder to reach to move from A to B. What
Mm.
does it take for you and for any other person joining the company? But you
Yes.
being a local in this particular case in Africa, okay, you maybe you have a bit of a fast track. You have right. It's slightly different, but essentially the tasks you need to demonstrate that you are able to deliver the same quality
Mm.
as
Mhm.
the others. So
Yes.
if you are fair, again, I don't see competition. I see
Mhm.
togetherness. I see a spirit, a team spirit, and
Yes.
not the way
Mm.
around. And I've been seeing
Excellent.
the
Yeah.
same in all the countries that I've worked.
Yeah.
Also, I was talking about Africa. If we speak about the Arab world, the challenges are slightly different when it
Yes.
comes to the culture. But in
Mm.
the end, we are all human beings. We all have the same drivers, and
Mm. Mm.
eventually different bias, but
Yes. Yes.
it can be developed in different ways and with adjusted career development plans.
Yeah.
I see.
Awesome. Right. Thank you very much for those insights, Ines. And Lubna, do you have anything to share on that, on the cultural side of things? I think you may have already said some, mentioned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, there is two type of experiences. I mean,
Mm.
as a leader in multinational companies, I mean, I
Yeah.
think we are always trying to have people aligned with the company culture more
Mm.
than actually. I was always leading the region of emerging markets in my all experiences, except my previous one with Europe when I saw the difference. But
Yeah.
main of my experience were actually in for the emerging markets. So
Mm.
basically, we have like in my current job, it's three continents and 72 countries. So
Right.
it's difficult to align with all the cultures, but we are bringing people to the culture of or to the
Mm.
company's
Mm.
culture. And as
Yes.
Ines mentioned, we have great people supporting us in learning and development,
Great. Great.
and they can bring our team to align
Mm.
with the company cultures.
Organizations. Yeah.
However, I'm still facing like some countries when you try to have a business discussion, of course, they are
Mm.
always, you can see them either that
Resistance.
resistant to the
Mm.
change,
Yeah.
and few of them they embrace the change quickly, and
Mm.
then it's back to we start saying okay, this is their culture, because they need the message to be repeated many times. They need actually to have someone who can onboard them
Mm.
and actually remind them about the company's culture. So we
Mm.
tried as maximum to not uh, go to the culture of our team, because they are
Mhm.
supposed to align with the culture of the company.
Company. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. No.
so
Yeah. I think you're.
yeah,
Yeah.
we
Mm. You're
don't
spot
want to
on there. Yeah.
be, yes, we don't want to be going in very specific markets and try to understand the background. But what we do with our talent acquisition team is to get the people that they can adapt quickly to the American culture, which is very
Yes. Yes.
results-driven culture. Very,
Hmm.
we give autonomy to people, so we need people that they're not relying on their
Mm.
manager or their leader to have everything. So where
Yeah.
they are coming from, a culture that they need the approval for everything, so they can move.
Mm.
So we can see that, but we
Hmm.
are not really, I would say, encouraging
Yeah.
to
So
to
you
follow.
probably have that as part of your recruitment process,
Yeah,
isn't it? To focus
correct.
on cultural fit and
Yeah.
attitude as opposed to
Yes.
technical skill, maybe,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
And I'm
that
kind of a
helps. Yeah.
leader that I really don't hire based on knowledge. Like my
Okay.
direct report,
Right.
it's all based on, yes, it might be shocking, but
Attitude. Yeah.
attitude. Yeah, I
Yeah.
because we have amazing team that they can teach anything about our products, about the
Yes.
market, about doing how to sell, how to market,
Mm.
how to produce, how to design. Everything can be learned, but
Right.
the attitude is
It's
something
something
that we
that can
can
be easily
teach. Yeah.
fixed, right?
No.
Yes.
No.
That's
No.
very wise. That's very
Absolutely.
wise.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. And Susanna, how about on your side?
So I completely agree with what Lubna and Ines said. It's
Yes. Yeah.
totally, of course, there are cultural clashes in every
Mm.
single country, in every single nationality. We are all biased by the end of the
Mm.
day. It's all about, as Lubna was saying, it starts with talent acquisition and making sure
Mhm.
that the people you hire for your company have the right set of values and fit your company culture and values,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then keep on training them, because
Mm.
we are all, by end of the day, we are all biased. So learning and development definitely plays a crucial role
Mm.
in educating people on, and these employee resource groups as well, on how to overcome bias, on how to become more aligned with the company culture and values.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
this will help minimizing any clash that you can possibly have by being
Yeah.
in a certain country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
I
I think, yeah,
completely
you
agree.
guys have spoken very well to, hopefully this will be a good message for our women audience, in terms of course, having the right character, having a growth mindset, okay, would certainly help with finding opportunities in, international organizations that take their culture very, very seriously. So it's not all just about, as all of you have been saying, about knowledge, but it's also about attitude and character. It's interesting because a lot of the emerging economies, that the focus tends to be on technical skill and ability, right? We are hopefully, with women leaders like yourself, over time appreciating the attitude and cultural fit element more. So, as a final, it's amazing we've already spent nearly an hour. As a final, I would like to invite each of you to maybe think of three words. Okay. So, this is kind of on the spot thinking here. Three words that would describe um, the kind of the character traits that a woman would need in order to successfully navigate this kind of very interesting environment that we have with challenges with women becoming a women leader. So yeah, think of three words that would three character traits that would help um, to become a successful woman leader. So I will invite Susanna first. So
Sure.
what will your
Sure.
words be?
So I would say inclusive,
Yes.
willing to coach.
Okay.
I know this is not just a word, it's free, but willing to
Yes.
coach is very
Coach.
important.
Okay.
And being an advocate
Being an
for
advocate.
diversity.
Great. Okay. Good. Thank you very much for that. Actually, one question that I forgot to ask you guys is whether you're okay for us to show your LinkedIn links. I think our audience might be wanting to reach out to you offline, so I did forget to mention that. So if that's okay with you, we would scroll that at the bottom of the screen there as we invite our audience for questions. Okay, Lubna, what will your 3 words be?
I think again, I will start talking about my. It will come from my previous experience,
Yes,
which
of
should
course.
not, because
Yes.
to be honest, we are moving, but it's always good to keep it being
Mm.
persistent.
Persistent. Okay.
Yes,
Right.
never give up.
Good. Mm-hmm.
I think
Okay.
it's needed,
Yeah.
and using the voice once you are a
Okay.
leader. Don't forget
Just
that the mission is not
pick someone
finished.
else up.
Yes,
Okay. Yes.
I
Okay.
think helping
Yeah.
other women is a key. This is how
Okay.
we can actually
Excellent.
keep doing and promoting women in all roles, not only
Yeah.
in all industries.
Great.
Um,
Yes. Okay.
yes, that's
Okay.
what's happening.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's solid. Thank you very much, Lubna. And Ines, you've had the opportunity to think about yours more than
Quickly,
Susanna and Lubna.
quickly, just to wrap it up, I would say
Yes.
fire.
You
Um,
say okay. Oh, okay. Good.
I would say empower.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a third one, and I think it's the most important one for any
Yeah.
human being, it's adapt.
Oh,
Adapt.
adapt. Oh, okay, adapt.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that one too. Yes, adapt. Definitely, because we live in a very, very fast changing environment, right? So yes, being able to adapt is also very, very important. Um, awesome. So I
Yeah.
think we're going to invite our audience to come up with any questions that they may have. Um, we have kind of gone over slightly, but let's try and make some time for our audience in case there's any questions they may
I
have.
just want
And
to add
yes, Lubna,
women
sorry. Yeah.
women should keep being multitasking, we have this
Okay.
quality
Yes, that's true.
that
Yes.
we don't.
Yes.
Yes,
Men are not very
I
good with this, right? Me included.
I don't I don't know if it is just like rumors, but I've
Yeah.
been not I was witnessing that in so many cases, and I think
Yes. Yes.
it should
Yes.
be,
Yes.
yes, and
That's
also
true.
value the work-life balance. It is important.
Yeah. No, I think that's a very, very valid point. It's interesting that we often overlook the multi-skilling
Yep.
element, right? But it's very, very critical. And so you're perfectly right there. So we're getting information from our back office team that
Okay.
so far we have no questions from our audience. That could be a positive thing, right? Because it could mean that you guys have provided our audience with all the nuggets that they need. So hence there's no questions there. Um, so and besides we're coming up to the hour anyway, so I guess it's so I would like to say a big thank you on behalf of Trusted Advisors Group to you all for agreeing on participating in this very interesting conversation around how can we inspire women to become better leaders. And I think you've shared from slightly different perspectives as well on some really useful information there. The key messages there is focusing on your character, determination, yeah, fire from
Keep
Ines.
being a good
Um,
listener also.
yes,
It
being a
is
good
important.
listener, yeah, and developing good emotional intelligence. I think this is the point that Ines raised earlier. Not getting too engulfed in some very uncomfortable places. Um, but yeah, so really, really thank you all. Um, and Yes, we never know. You could be transforming some lives as we speak. Hopefully, some of our audience have got some goals that they've captured from this conversation. And for our audience, yeah, please do reach out to our speakers if you want to continue this conversation offline. We would certainly love to hear from you if our speakers have transformed your life in any way. I think this would be a great inspirational story for us to be able to share, on our platforms. So we've been live on YouTube. I'm not sure about the numbers, of viewers but we have a reasonable amount of viewers, and I'm sure that you're influencing a lot. Hopefully, you'll be influencing a lot of lives. Okay, so yeah, I think this about wraps it up, ladies. So we will definitely be sharing with you guys, the participants, information about our audience as well, so you get to see that. But yeah, thank you very much again. Um, have a wonderful evening, rest of the day. Okay, I think in Dubai it's night time pretty much. Um, so maybe good night is the message for those of you in Dubai. Yes, and thank you again. Wonderful.